Welcome, Seawolves, to this week's Stony Brook Newsbreak. I'm Nikola Knežević.
And I'm Eamon Gallinado, and thanks for joining us.
With Donald Trump's presidential honeymoon over, many reports suggest that Americans are not happy with the economy, especially with tariffs. Consumer confidence has fallen for the fifth consecutive month to the lowest ever in 5 years. A new CBS poll shows a majority of American people think Trump's policies have worsened economic conditions. The poll shows that Americans think that the president's focus is on trade wars instead of lowering prices, shifting focus from lowering prices to trade wars. On the immigration issue, more than half of those surveyed supported the president's policies. President Trump marked the 100 days of his second term with a trip to Michigan. The rally in Michigan highlighted his economic achievements as the White House announces some easing tariffs on automakers.
And we're here tonight in the heartland of our nation to celebrate the most successful first 100 days of any administration in the history of our country. They all want to come back to Michigan and build cars again. You know why? Because of our tax and tariff policy. They're coming from all over the world. They're coming up and they're opening up plants.
While the 25% tariff on imported auto parts remain, the automakers will not be subject to an additional duty on imported steel and aluminum.
The goal here is to bring back the high quality industrial jobs to the U.S. President Trump creates what I would call strategic uncertainty in the negotiation.
Treasury Secretary Besson says that progress has been made in negotiations with some Asian trading partners, but the United States' closest allies feel the betrayal by the Trump administration.
Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over.
We just heard Mark Carney, the new Prime Minister of Canada. The new Liberal Party Prime Minister does not have a majority support in Parliament, but in order to secure the win, he will need support from another smaller party. Carney's campaign, which highlighted anti-Trump sentiment, gave him 169 seats, 3 short of the 172 needed to fully win. President Trump called Carney to congratulate him on his win. They agreed on the importance of Canada and the United States working together as independent nations. At the same time, White House spokesperson Anna Kelly said that the election does not affect President Trump's plan to make Canada America's 51st state. Both Carney and Trump have agreed to meet in person in the near future.
The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments today over whether St. Isidore of Seville in Oklahoma can become the nation's first taxpayer-funded religious charter school. The school argues that by excluding religious schools from the charter system, the state is violating religious freedom. The Oklahoma Attorney General says that allowing the school to receive taxpayer funds would violate the First Amendment's bar on the government establishment of religion. The court's decision is expected by the end of June.
A massive blackout swept across Spain and Portugal on Monday. As of Tuesday morning, the power has been fully restored, but officials say they still don't know what caused the sudden loss of electricity that shut down trains, grounded flights, and left millions in the dark. In Spain alone, nearly 60% of the national power supply dropped in just 5 seconds. 5 deaths are being linked to the outage. 3 of the deaths in Galicia may have been from carbon monoxide poisoning. Another death took place in Valencia after a woman's oxygen machine stopped working. Emergency crews rescued more than 35,000 passengers stranded in trains and subways. The Spanish Prime Minister says finding the cause and preventing it from happening again is now a top priority.
Shifting focus now to local events, a long-treasured Stony Brook tradition, Roth Regatta, is set to take place in a few days. Say, Eamon, have you ever been to Roth Regatta?
I have, and I've had a great time.
I've never been, and I was going to ask you about your experience, but our very own Jake Arukio is standing by to share with us the latest. Jake, what's happening?
Well, Nick, for one day each year, Roth Pond transforms into an oasis for the Stony Brook community. The 36th annual Roth Regatta is set for this Friday, May 2nd, at Roth Pond. It's a tradition that unites SBU students through a boat race. The boats are made with cardboard, duct tape, and spray paint. That's it. The regatta will boast 2 separate divisions of races with 2-person speedster heats and 4-person yacht heats. So if you want a fun way to win some prizes, get some food, or just hang out with your friends, Roth Regatta's got you covered.
Now I hear that the regatta has a theme for these boats and their designs every year. Do we know what the theme is this year?
Yes, we do, Eamon. Last year's theme was a lot looser, titled Unbound. Now, the message there was to be unbound by limits and showcase creativity through your boat designs. As a result, we saw a lot of different ideas and characters merging at the pond last year. This year's theme is a lot more centralized, and the focus is going to be centered around Greek mythology. Now, there are plenty of inspirations to pick from since there are so many Greek gods and other stories out there. With Zeus, Hades, Athena, I could go on all day, but I'm personally forecasting a lot of Poseidon-related boats since he is the Greek god of water. So be on the lookout for a lot of tridents out in the pond this year.
Interesting, Jake. Now, what if I can't make it out to the pond that day? Is there a way for me to keep up with the regatta?
Yes, there is. Maybe have a test that day. Maybe there's a meeting you can't get out of, got called into work, out of town. Whatever your dilemma, the Stony Brook Media Group will make sure you will catch every single heat come Friday. They've produced a live broadcast for the past decade and counting. You can find the stream on the SBU Journalism YouTube channel, with the premiere set to go live at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time, the day of the event. The show will have cameras set up at the start line and the finish line, studio analysis, play-by-play commentary, sideline interviews, and so much more. They'll make sure viewers will catch every wipeout on the track. You don't want to miss it.
We certainly won't. Thanks, Jake. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Newsbreak. Signing out from the studio, my name is Eamon Galinato.
And I'm Nikola Knežević, and we'll see you next week.